Your mindset is the filter through which you interpret everything that happens in your life. It is the invisible force that influences your decisions, your emotions, your actions, and ultimately your results. From the moment you wake up in the morning, your mindset is already determining the kind of day you're going to have. If you believe the day will be difficult, you're likely to notice only the problems. But if you believe that challenges are chances to grow, you'll meet the same problems with confidence and creativity. Think of your mindset like a mental operating system. A negative mindset installs limiting beliefs, telling you what you can't do, what's too hard, or why you're not enough. It convinces you that success is only for others, that failure is final, and that change is impossible. On the other hand, a positive, growth-oriented mindset equips you with empowering beliefs. It tells you that you can learn, that you will improve, and that every setback is simply a setup for a greater comeback. Your reality, how you feel, what you achieve, how you interact with others, is shaped not by the external world, but by the stories you tell yourself inside your head. Two people can go through the same event, say, losing a job. One sees it as a personal failure and spirals into hopelessness. The other sees it as a new beginning and uses it as motivation to explore better opportunities. The event is the same. The outcome is different. Why? Because mindset is the lens that defines what the event means. Even your sense of happiness, confidence, and fulfillment comes from your perspective, not your possessions. You can have all the success in the world and still be unhappy if your mindset is filled with comparison, criticism, and self-doubt. But even with limited resources, a strong, grateful mindset can make you feel rich in every area of life. Mindset isn't just a piece of your journey, it is the foundation of your journey. It decides what you aim for, how long you keep going, and what you believe is possible for yourself. Every decision, big or small, flows from how you perceive yourself and the world around you. And that perception is shaped by your mindset. Many people spend their lives believing that their success, happiness, or peace is entirely dependent on the circumstances they're in. They blame their environment, their upbringing, their lack of resources, or even other people for their inability to move forward. But the truth is, it's not the circumstances that define your life. It's how you think about those circumstances. Life will always throw challenges your way. Financial setbacks, personal failures, rejection, disappointment, and loss are experiences that almost everyone faces. Yet some people use these hardships as stepping stones, while others use them as excuses. The dividing line between those two outcomes isn't luck or fate, it's mindset. Circumstances are external, they're temporary. They may slow you down, but they can never truly stop you unless your thinking allows them to. If your thoughts are full of fear, doubt, and helplessness, then even a small obstacle can feel like an insurmountable wall. But if your thinking is rooted in possibility, purpose, and resilience, then even a massive setback becomes just another hill to climb. History is full of people who came from nothing, poverty, broken homes, war zones, or discrimination, yet rose to achieve greatness. How? Their thinking was stronger than their circumstances. They believed in change. They believed in growth. And most importantly, they believed that their mindset had more power than their environment. On the flip side, there are people who seemingly have everything, education, wealth, connections, but they remain stagnant. They get stuck because their thinking is clouded by entitlement, fear of failure, or an unwillingness to adapt. This proves again that it's not your situation, but your perception and beliefs that control your outcome. Every situation in life offers you two options. You can either see yourself as a victim or as a creator. Victims react based on circumstances. Creators respond based on vision. The moment you shift your thinking from a why is this happening to me, to what can I do with this, you begin to reclaim your power. Your thoughts become your tools, not your traps. What you choose to focus on becomes your reality. You can either focus on what's missing or on what's possible. You can dwell on what's wrong or plan for what comes next. This mental discipline of controlling your thoughts in the face of challenge is what separates those who are stuck from those who grow. One of the most powerful concepts in personal development is the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. These two ways of thinking determine not only how you approach challenges, but also how much you evolve throughout your life. A person with a fixed mindset believes that their intelligence, talents, and abilities are static traits. They think you're either born with it or you're not. If they fail at something, they take it personally, seeing it as proof that they're not capable. They avoid difficult tasks because they fear looking inadequate. They resist feedback, shy away from competition, and often give up when things get tough because deep down they believe effort is pointless if you weren't naturally good to begin with. In contrast, a growth mindset is the belief that abilities can be developed through dedication, effort, and learning. People with a growth mindset see failure as feedback, not a reflection of their worth. They embrace challenges, knowing that struggling is a natural part of improvement. They seek out learning opportunities, crave feedback, and keep going when others quit, because they understand that greatness is built, not born. Think about a child learning to walk. No one says, "You've fallen 3 times. Walking just isn't your thing." We encourage them to keep trying because we know it's part of the process. That's the essence of a growth mindset, recognizing that the path to mastery is messy, imperfect, and full of setbacks. But that doesn't mean it's not worth walking. Your mindset influences everything, from how you approach relationships to how you handle failure to how you take on new skills. A fixed mindset locks you in place, convincing you that you must prove yourself over and over. A growth mindset frees you to explore, evolve, and stretch beyond your current limits. This shift from fixed to growth is more than just motivational talk. It's backed by science. Studies show that students, athletes, professionals, and even entire companies perform better when they adopt a growth mindset. Why? Because they aren't trapped by fear of failure. They don't view effort as weakness. They welcome discomfort, knowing that growth and comfort rarely go hand in hand. The power of the growth mindset is that it puts your future in your hands. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You just have to be the one who refuses to stop learning. Many people mistakenly believe that positivity is a personality trait, something you're either born with or you're not. They assume that optimistic people are naturally cheerful, upbeat, or just lucky to have a good life. But in truth, positive thinking is not a gift, it's a habit. It's a conscious mental practice that is developed over time through intention, repetition, and awareness. Positivity doesn't mean ignoring life's problems or pretending everything is perfect. It means training your mind to stay solution-focused, hopeful, and empowered, even when things get tough. It's about choosing your response, even when you can't control your circumstances. It's about looking at life through a lens of possibility rather than limitation. Positive thinkers aren't people who never experience fear, doubt, or pain. They're simply people who've built the mental discipline to not get stuck in those emotions. Just like you train your body through consistent exercise, you train your mind by repeatedly choosing thoughts that uplift, encourage, and energize you rather than drag you down. This habit starts small, catching a negative thought and replacing it with a more empowering one. It grows through daily practices like gratitude, affirmations, mindfulness, and surrounding yourself with uplifting influences. Over time, your brain becomes wired to seek out the good, to focus on what's working, and to believe in better outcomes. That's how you shift from a reactive mindset to a proactive, hopeful one. Moreover, research in neuroscience has shown that the brain is incredibly adaptable, what scientists call neuroplasticity. This means that the more you practice thinking positively, the more your brain builds the neural pathways to support that pattern. In other words, the more you choose positivity, the easier it becomes to stay positive in the future. This habit of positive thinking has real-life benefits. It leads to better stress management, stronger relationships, increased resilience, better health, and more creativity. People who regularly practice optimism don't avoid problems. They tackle them with the belief that they can handle them and that solutions exist. They see failure as part of growth, not the end of the road. They understand that their thoughts have power, and they choose to wield that power wisely. By making positivity a daily discipline instead of a passive expectation, you begin to take control of your mindset. You don't wait for life to feel good. You train your mind to look for good, create good, and expect good, regardless of what the world throws your way. Life is full of challenges, moments of pain, confusion, loss, pressure, and failure. No one escapes them, no matter how skilled, wealthy, or fortunate they may seem. But the most successful and fulfilled people understand a powerful truth. Challenges are not just obstacles to overcome. They are opportunities in disguise. Every difficulty you face contains a lesson, a growth moment, or a new direction waiting to be discovered. When your mindset is strong and growth-oriented, you stop seeing challenges as punishment and start seeing them as part of the process. You begin to understand that every test is a teacher, every struggle is a step, and every failure is part of your foundation. This perspective shift is crucial. Most people view challenges as roadblocks, something that stops their progress, drains their energy, or proves they're not good enough. Oh, ha. But when you reframe that struggle, you give it new meaning. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what is this teaching me? That single change in thought can completely transform your experience. Think about any personal achievement or success story. Behind it, you will almost always find a challenge that sparked transformation. The athlete who trains harder after losing a match, the entrepreneur who builds a new model after their business fails, the student who finally understands their subject after months of struggle. None of that growth would have happened without the challenge. Challenges push you beyond your comfort zone. They stretch your character, sharpen your skills, and strengthen your mental resilience. Without resistance, there is no strength. Just like muscles need tension to grow, your mind and spirit need difficulty to evolve. The very situations you try to avoid may be the exact ones that are meant to develop you. It's important to realize that challenges often reveal your true potential. You don't know how strong, capable, or creative you are until you're forced to dig deeper. The pressure forces you to adapt, to think differently, to develop new strategies, and to rely on inner strength you never knew you had. That's how adversity becomes your training ground, not your defeat. People with the right mindset welcome challenges not because they enjoy suffering, but because they understand what lies on the other side: growth, wisdom, confidence, and new levels of success. They know that the discomfort is temporary, but the development is permanent. They don't run from pressure, they rise under it. At the core of every strong and successful mindset lies one essential element: self-belief. Without belief in yourself, even the most powerful strategies, opportunities, and resources will fall through. Self-belief is the inner conviction that you are capable, worthy, and equipped to handle whatever life throws at you, not because you know everything, but because you trust in your ability to learn, grow, and adapt. When you believe in yourself, you approach life different. You walk into a room with confidence. You speak with conviction. You try, fail, and try again without losing faith in your ultimate success. That inner trust becomes your compass. It guides your decisions, it fuels your persistence, and it empowers you to take bold action, even when things are uncertain. Self-belief is not arrogance. It's not pretending to have all the answers. It's the quiet strength of knowing that no matter how tough things get, you have the resilience to face them. It's the understanding that your value isn't based on perfection, but on your willingness to grow. People with strong self-belief don't need to compare themselves to others. They measure progress against their own goals and refuse to let fear dictate their choices. This foundational belief doesn't come overnight. It's built over time through repeated moments of courage, self-reflection, and growth. It's cultivated when you honor your promises to yourself, when you take action despite fear, and when you prove to yourself again and again that you are stronger than you once believed. Every person faces doubts at some point. The difference is that those who succeed don't let the doubt win. They counter it with discipline, preparation, and a deep-rooted trust in their capacity to figure things out. That's what makes self-belief so powerful. It allows you to face uncertainty with courage, to turn failure into fuel, and to move forward even when the path is unclear. When you lack self-belief, you hesitate, you settle, you allow rejection to define you and fear to paralyze you. But when you are rooted in self-trust, you rise above criticism, push past limitations, and persist when others quit. You stop waiting for permission to grow, and you start creating the life you believe you're meant for. Self-belief is the anchor that keeps your mindset strong in the face of storms. It's the foundation on which everything else is built: your confidence, your focus, your motivation, and your ability to persevere. The thoughts you repeat to yourself every day, the quiet dialogue running in your mind, and the beliefs you silently nurture, these are far more powerful than most people realize. Your inner voice is the invisible architect of your outer life. It shapes your confidence, your actions, your habits, and even your relationships. What you say to yourself consistently becomes what you believe, and what you believe determines how you show up in the world. Everyone has an internal narrative. For some, it's filled with doubt, fear, self-criticism, and limitation. For others, it's filled with strength, encouragement, hope, and clarity. The difference in these voices leads to a profound difference in outcomes. A person who constantly tells themselves, "I'm not good enough," will likely avoid challenges, fear rejection, and underperform, not because they lack talent, but because their mindset convinces them to stay small. On the other hand, someone who says, "I can figure this out," or "I have what it takes," will take action even if they don't feel fully ready. They may fall or fail, but their inner voice pushes them to rise again. That kind of self-talk builds resilience. It turns obstacles into stepping stones and possibilities into realities. Your inner voice is like a seed. What you plant and water will grow. If you constantly feed yourself negativity, judgment, and comparison, you create a mental environment that stifles growth. But if you speak words of encouragement, power, and belief, you create a space where confidence, courage, and purpose can thrive. This internal dialogue doesn't always come naturally. In fact, most people inherit their inner voice from early experiences, what parents said to them, how teachers treated them, or how society defined their worth. But the good news is this: your inner voice can be rewritten. You can retrain your mind to speak to yourself with the same love, wisdom, and strength that you'd give to someone you care about deeply. Affirmations, journaling, mindfulness, and reflection are tools to help reshape your inner dialogue. But even more important is the awareness that you're not just a passive listener. You are the author of your inner voice, and the words you choose to speak to yourself have the power to create or destroy, to limit or liberate. Every decision you make, every risk you take, and every boundary you set is influenced by the tone of your internal voice. It can either whisper doubt that stops you, or it can roar with belief that drives you forward. The truth is, if you want to change your life, you have to start by changing the way you talk to yourself. Mindset isn't something you develop once and keep forever. It's something that requires consistent, daily effort to maintain and strengthen. Just like physical health demands regular exercise, healthy eating, and rest, your mindset needs daily nourishment through intentional habits, reflection, and mental conditioning. Without this discipline, even the strongest mindset can erode over time under the weight of stress, fear, negativity, and self-doubt. Your thoughts are constantly influenced by your environment, by the people around you, the content you consume, the challenges you face, and even your physical health. That's why mindset isn't automatic. It's a result of what you choose to feed your mind with and how consistently you do it. If you're not actively training your mind to stay focused, resilient, and positive, the noise of the world will do the training for you, and often it will lead you toward fear, anxiety, and limitation. Daily mindset discipline involves a combination of practices that sharpen your mental clarity, strengthen your self-belief, and keep you aligned with your goals. This could include morning routines with affirmations, meditation, or prayer to center your focus, journaling to clear emotional clutter, reading to expand your thinking, and goal setting to stay driven and intentional. These habits are not just motivational, they are foundational. Discipline also means monitoring your inner dialogue and consciously choosing how you respond to setbacks. When things don't go as planned, the undisciplined mind reacts impulsively, blaming others, feeling defeated, or retreating into fear. But a disciplined mindset pauses, reflects, and reframes the situation. It asks, "What can I learn?" or "How can I use this to get better?" This level of emotional control and mental awareness only comes from regular mental training. It's important to understand that some days will be harder than others. Some mornings you won't feel motivated. Some evenings you may feel like giving up. But that's exactly when discipline matters most. Doing what's necessary even when you don't feel like it. That's when the real transformation happens. The disciplined mind doesn't chase perfection. It prioritizes consistency. It shows up every single day, regardless of how it feels, because it knows that lasting change is the result of repetition, not bursts of inspiration. Mindset discipline also includes protecting your mental energy. That means being intentional about the conversations you engage in, the content you absorb, the habits you allow, and the people you spend time with. A disciplined mind avoids toxic influences, sets boundaries, and chooses environments that support growth, not distraction or drama. In the end, your mindset is the master key to everything you want to achieve in life. It determines how you face challenges, how you bounce back from failure, and how far you're willing to go to reach your potential. Talent and opportunity may open the door, but only a strong and disciplined mindset can walk you through it. So guard your thoughts, train your mind daily, and believe deeply in your ability to grow. Because once your mindset is right, everything else will follow